Now that the starting gang is done, I think it's time we started painting up these Escher. Let's jump into it. How's it going, guys? My name is Matt, this is my beard, and welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to be painting the Escher which I built in my last video. So if you haven't watched that one, don't worry, it's just me building and then it's a bit of the rule side of things because it's my founding gang for the Escher. However, once you finish this one, if you fancy seeing what I did last time, give it a watch. So in this video I have my original 6, so my 6 founding Escher, and also a 7th. Now that 7th isn't a part of the original gang. I'm actually using it as a test model. However, it's a bit of an interesting one. It's actually one of the original gangers. So this is the ganger with lasgun from the original game of Necromunda. So it's the original metal cast one. It's been based on just a new 25mm. So the bottom lip has been taken off. It's been super glued onto the base. It's been primed in Colour Forge's matte black with 2 coats. And outside of that, it's pretty much ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to test the scheme on that one first. I'm going to move on to the subsequent 6. Without further ado, let's jump into painting. So we have the test model here, and we also have some interesting paints. Now, I recently picked up the Pale Flesh set, which is part of the new 2.0 game colour range by Vallejo. And I was absolutely blown away with how it operated as a paint, how it behaved on the palette, how it behaved being applied to the model, pretty much everything about it, to be honest with you. I was really happy with it, and comparatively to a Citadel paint, it just felt different, and I wanted to explore that in a bit more of a grander fashion. So what I've done is I've bought a handful of these sets. I've bought the purple and the green, as you can see. However, in the background I also have the red and the blue. And I do have a handful of colours coming in the next couple of days which cover dark to light grey, a white and a black as well. But this kind of gives you an indication as to where my mind's at when it comes to the colourway. So first and foremost, let's have a little look at the model. The model itself is pretty interesting. I mean, this is an older model anyway, so from a detail perspective it's not as, shall we say, affluent with detail in comparison to the newer Games Workshop models. However, you've got to remember that these guys were they were cast in pewter, and they could only push the technology so far with the limited budget and the limited resource that they had back in the day. Plastic is and was expensive to print, and obviously this is a metal model. It was an easier one to cast, so we just took it from there. So I think in regards to the colour decisions here, let's just have a look around the model and see what we can pick up on. So straight away, some leather pouches around the waist. It looks as if she has a detailed leather leading leg with a leather or fabric rear leg. She's obviously got the cloth in betwixt her legs, and then she has her sidearm pouch there too. We've got the standard las, which is obviously what the Escher are partially known for. Now we have some gauntlets as well, so some gauntlet guard. We have a shoulder pad, a little bit of a breastplate available to us there, and she has an exposed stomach. Obviously she's got a face, she's got hair in braid, or in multiple, like a Mohican style ponytail fashion, very large, very flowy, and that covers quite a lot of the miniature at the top. So it's going to be an interesting one to paint. Now, one of the creative decisions that I think I might run with on the wider gang is having these cloth bits in between the legs indicate what they are in the hierarchy. So for example, if it's a dark purple, a rich purple, then that means that you're a leader, or a mid purple would mean that you are a champion or a matriarch. And then going down into, for example, the greens, that would mean that you're a ganger or a juve. and I think that would help with the differentiation side of things. And on that note, I'm not sure whether it'll be included in this video, however, I have ordered some of the Versatile Terrain nameplates. Now, there was a little bit of a backlog. I think it was a 10-day backlog, and we're still quite well within that 10-day time frame. If they do arrive by the end of me filming this video and this Friday, then obviously I will add them to the gang. I'll paint them up as well, and that'll be added. However, if they don't arrive during the course of me making this video, I will either put a supplementary video out surrounding the nameplates themselves, or in the next video surrounding my Escher, we'll then have a little look at the plates then. So without further ado, let's jump into this test model. That'll give us a flavour for what we have to expect with the rest of the gang, and take it from there. And this is why we do a test model, and it's one of the reasons why test models are so important. Now, first and foremost, the positive, this green tabard at the front is gorgeous. It's a really simple transition. I started on a base coat of the angel green, and then I moved into a dark green just for some of the darker areas and the recesses, and then I did a little bit of highlighting with the sick green. And overall that green is just gorgeous. It's really deep. It's exactly what I want. It gives that right level of pop, but with maintaining a little bit of the darkness using the dark green side of things. Where I'm going to change this, going into my gang proper, is the grey. Now on camera it actually looks quite white, and that's because it's very similar, and I didn't actually realise this at the time, it's very similar to an Administratum grey. So it's kind of somewhere in between Administratum Grey and Dawnstone. It's very bright, and I feel it doesn't really fit the aesthetic of what I'm aiming for with my Escher. So I think I'm going to go over it with Escher Grey, see how that lands. So Escher Grey is obviously the Citadel colour, and we'll see how that lands on the model. And following that, I'm going to finish off the leather work, some of the trinkets and whatnot, get the gun done, and then I'll move quickly on to the flesh. I'll just get this all boxed off. For the hair, I think I'm maybe going for a dark red perhaps, but we'll see. But yes, anyway, I'm going to finish this mod off now. We'll reconvene once I've gotten my act together and finished off this, just to see what it looks like, and we'll take it from there. So this is the finished test model. Now, I'm really quite happy with how it turned out. However, it has highlighted a couple of things that I'm not too keen on, and that I'm actually going to change going into the gang. So I started off this process by thinking that the coloured tabards would basically denote rank within the hierarchy, and I've decided against this. I think if you think of it thematically, it would make more sense for the Escher to have continuity within their uniform, so to speak. So I think I'm going to change the colour slightly. However, everything else about this I do love. Now obviously this is one of the older models. This is the old Ganger with lasgun. So I have taken some creative liberty with it. I do love the green. I think it looks amazing. I think I've done a really good job on it. However, overall, I feel that that gang hierarchical colour matching is probably not the way to go. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick to the browns. I'm going to stick to the Escher Grey on the clothing and whatnot. However, I think for my gang proper, I'm going to go with a blue. A blue transition would be favourable here, I think. It would match the Escher Grey quite nicely. It would keep like a nice cool colour palette. And then the points of differentiation are going to be the hairstyles, but the hairstyles, they're not going to denote anything specific or particular. They're simply going to be there as a nice aesthetic choice. So, with the test model out of the way and the lessons learned, I think it's time to crack on. Let's jump into it. With the lessons learned from the test model, I think it's time we moved on to Venomous, Dolly and StarryFawwn. And these are going to be the two models, or the first two models rather, from the Vixens of Allure that I'm going to paint. And I'm quite excited to do this, to be honest, because they're a little bit more detailed, these models. However, they're a lot more accessible and a little bit more open as models to actually get some decent detail and coverage in. So I think with the tabards, I'm going to go with the blue colourway. I'm going to continue with the Escher Grey on the mainly fabric areas. But then also there's quite a lot of exposed flesh too, so we'll see how we fare there. I think the point of differentiation for these models is probably going to be the hair, but they're not going to denote rank or anything like that. They're purely going to be aesthetic. So without further ado, let's jump into StarryFawwn and Venomous Dolly. So this is where we're at so far. It's a little bit further back than I hoped we would be by this point. However, for transparency, I've had to take a little bit of time away from painting to try and get a migraine sorted out. I get intermittent migraines every so often. It's not the most pleasant of situations to be in, but it is what it is. So unfortunately I am actually going to cut this video short, just purely on the basis that I'm still feeling quite rough, and I think I would prefer to paint these when my head's not pounding and I don't have a big bright LED light staring in my eyes. But we'll just review where we're at so far. So first and foremost, we did do the test model. Really loved the test model, loved the composition and whatnot, and it taught me a few things about how to paint the Escher. I think where I'm going to go from here, obviously as I mentioned earlier in the video, I've moved away from the green and I've decided on a blue instead, and as you can see in the most recent paint jobs rather, see I can't even get my words out. I've gone down that line with the blues, and it looks really cool. It looks a little bit more sort of cyberpunk. It looks a little bit more to the aesthetic that I'm after. Now these are still very rough, probably because I'm still very rough. So I think once I've done a few more touch-up points and whatnot, these guys will be pretty much ready to go. So here's the plan. I'm going to cut this video now. I'm going to get posted. just to sort of stick to the Friday upload schedule. I'd rather not try and rush these 4 through and rush a paint job on these and not do the models justice. Like, I love these models. Like, I actually had a test game with these last night, and they really are really quite fun to play. They're really good, they're really enjoyable. I very much enjoyed the toxin side of things. I have actually made an amendment to my initial starting list as well. That's the whole reason why we're doing these test games ahead of the campaign. And honestly guys, like, Escher are really fun. Like, they're really, really cool, and the sculpts are beautiful, and I don't want to do them an injustice by painting them badly. These two are quite rough. This one was pretty decent, but obviously I want to make sure that as I'm painting through the rest of my gang, they just look good. That's the whole point of this. I want to make them. I really enjoy painting, and I don't like feeling ill, and I don't want to sort of have my migraine sort of make my paint jobs worse. So I think I'm gonna call it a day for now, and the next video I'll get all of these guys painted up. I'll finish these two off first, start on these guys, and we'll take it from there. Now, one little silver lining to everything is I have received some cool mail. I got Belladonna. Belladonna finally came back into stock on the GW website, so I picked her up, and she's really cool. She's just a badass model, and she's a bounty hunter, so I can petition her to come and play with the gang for a little bit. She's got some pretty quirky rules, but yeah, she's brutal. So I look forward to building and painting her. So I am sorry that I've had to cut this, guys. It's not my usual sort of way of doing things, but unfortunately, like, I do get intermittent migraines. They're very seldom, but when they do happen, they pretty much knock me for 6, and I struggle to sort of concentrate on stuff. I'm loving painting these Escher. They are beautiful models to paint and handle. Even the old one was, you know, quite fun to paint as well. Like, I was looking online earlier, and I'll put a picture on screen now, in between my fingers, using the power of overlays. And that's an old sort of gang list from back in the day. It's basically all the available gang models, and I think a little side project for me, or a side, you know, bit of fun, I'm going to try and pick the whole gang up, and I'll probably paint them in this style with the green, because they are quite elven in their look. So I'll have like a little sort of metal side troop to my regular Escher. But yes, so I am sorry guys, but I'm going to call it a day now. So if you've liked the video and you want to see some more, please drop me a like. And if you're new around here, haven't done so already, I would love for you to subscribe and join me on this journey with my Escher and any of my other projects that are going on. I'm really having fun with these, and I wish I could put more time into them right now, but unfortunately, just as it sits, my head's pounding, so I can't. So thank you for watching, guys. Oh, and one more thing. The video I uploaded a couple of days back with the TT Combat Vallejo paint stand, I appreciate it was half an hour long and it was talking about a paint rack. I probably could have cut down that, you know, live building thing quite substantially, but I just decided to put a video out about them because I was just so excited about the paint rack itself. It's a really good product, and I would highly recommend TT Combat to anybody if they want to get some decent products for their hobby. So I do apologise if that was a bit of a long one, a bit of an oversight on my part, so I do apologise. Right, bedtime. I'm going to bed, turn off all the lights, and just wrapping up in a cocoon of quilt. So have a good day, guys, and the next time you see me, I will hopefully be right as rain, and we'll be painting some amazing Escher. Catch you later, guys.